The topic of this video is converting a circle from general form to standard form. Alright, so here's the problem we're going to solve. Find the center and radius of the circle x squared plus y squared plus 4x minus 6y plus 9 equals 0. This is given to us in general form. We want to convert it to standard form so that we can very easily see the center and radius. I've written sort of a short version of the 4 steps that we learned previously, and let's apply them to this problem now. Alright, step 1 says, get x squared plus y squared. If the coefficient of x squared and y squared is not 1, then we have to divide both sides of the equation by that coefficient to make it 1. But we're lucky in this particular instance that the coefficient of x squared and y squared is already 1, so we can move on to step 2. Step 2 is to rearrange the terms. Specifically, we want to group the terms by variable in descending order and move number terms to the other side. So, let's start with x. We have x squared plus 4x. Notice this is in descending order by exponent. Exponent of 2, exponent of 1. Next, we're going to group the y's. So, plus y squared minus 6y. This is also in descending order. And finally, we move our constant term to the other side. And we remember that when a term changes sides, it changes signs. Okay, that was step 2. Step 3 is to complete the square. Here are the details of how to do that. We have 2 binomials, 1 and 2. For each binomial, start with the second coefficient, divide it by 2, square it, and add that value to both the binomial and the right side of the equation. Okay, our second coefficient is positive 4. Cut it in half, which makes positive 2, and write it beneath. Then square it, which makes positive 4. So we need to add 4 to this binomial, and because this is an equation, we also need to add 4 to the right side of the equation. Let's repeat this for the other binomial, y squared minus 6y. The middle coefficient is negative 6. Cut in half, that would be negative 3. Squared is positive 9. So we add positive 9 here and here. We have now completed the square. Step 4, factor and add. Factor the 2 binomials, add the numbers on the right-hand side together. Well, the reason why I've asked you to place half of this coefficient down here is because that's going to help you factor. When you factor x squared plus 4x plus 4, you get x plus 2 squared. And when you factor y squared minus 6y plus 9, you get y minus 3 squared. In other words, all you have to do is put an x in front of the number, put it in parentheses, and square it. But don't forget to bring this plus down in between. On the right-hand side, negative 9 and positive 9 cancel, so I'm just left with 4. This is now the standard form of my circle. And the big advantage of standard form is that just by looking at it, I can see the center and the radius. Using the opposite rule, the opposite of the number that I see here, negative 2, will be the x-coordinate of my center, and the opposite of the number that I see here, positive 3, will be the y-coordinate of my center. When it comes to the radius, I have to remember that the standard form equation ends in equals r squared. So what that's telling me is that r squared equals 4. So that means that my radius, r, must be 2. To see the algebra on that, you can just do r squared equals 4, and then apply the square root property. R equals plus or minus the square root of 4, r equals plus or minus 2, but since r is a distance and cannot be negative, we throw out the negative and we get r equals 2. Alright, so this is how we convert from general form to standard form. The main advantage of knowing this process is it allows us to very quickly and easily determine the center and radius of our circle.